Hiya, I'm Maria Beswick and I'm one of the English teachers at Oldham Sixth Form College. I'm also an ex-student. Okay, so there are three options when you study English. We have three A levels. We've got English language and literature, and then we've got English literature. So I'll tell you a little bit about English language first. So it's not like GCSE. Many people think it is like the GCSE, but it isn't. The language is a living and breathing thing. You know, we'll study the difference between writing, speaking, and all the things that affect that. It's really exciting. We do lots of things with students. So we've taken students down to London for language conferences before. We've had speakers in, music journalists, for example, coming in and talking about their work. We've worked closely with Manchester University. Alex Barata's come in. He's one of the teachers at the university there. And we've also been involved in an accent bias project with Manchester Metropolitan University, and Rob Drummond, who you might have seen him on Twitter. He's a really big presence, so yeah, quite excited. And then we have language and literature, and again that's different. So many people kind of think it's a continuation of what you do at school, where you come and you study the two separate, but you don't. What we do is often, it's called stylistics at uni, so it's a bit, you are kind of being prepped for what you would do at university if you were to study it there. We take a piece of literature and we study it from a language perspective. So we study things like The Handmaid's Tale, so a dystopian novel. It's brilliant. There's a fabulous series, you might have seen it as well. And we look at perhaps elements really closely within that text and how characters are using language, or we might study ideas around point of view and how we have unreliable narrators. Again, looking at spoken language in the novel and representations of speech. Then you have English literature. So, you know, that's for students who love reading. You have to love reading to do English literature. We do Shakespeare's Tempest, which is his last play. We went down to Stratford in 2017 to watch it. It was brilliant. They had CGI effects. It was super. Like reading and you're interested in the world, then literature is for you. Yeah. So they're the kind of skills that all employers and universities really want. The ability to analyse, to evaluate, to write a clear line of argument, to make your writing cohesive and fluent, and that's such a difficult skill to have. So English is a good all-rounder because those skills of analysis, evaluation, being a critical thinker are all the things that everybody wants. Like I said, we've done things like go to London, go to Stratford, and we get speakers in, so we've had speakers in for literature and for language. And I was going to say this till last, but I'm too excited about it. We had in last year, in November and October, Caroline Duffy, ex-Poet Laureate, and then the current Poet Laureate, Simon Armitage. And there is nowhere else that has that. You know, any opportunities that we can, like that, we give them to our students. So yeah, that's the best one. So many of them go on to university. So we have 82% from the, and this isn't just English either, it's the whole curriculum area really. 82% go on to Russell Group universities, you know, some taking a gap year, so yeah, and a wide range of things really. So some people think, oh, English, I'm going to go and do English, and that's not necessarily the case. It's one of those subjects where you can go into really varied things, law, history, accountancy, you name it, yeah. Film and media is really interesting for a variety of reasons really, and I suppose I'll talk about them a little bit separately as well as connected. When you're studying things like media, you are looking at the world around you, and you'll study various different texts and products that are related to media, but you also study some interesting and difficult critical theories as well. So you're really thinking about and deconstructing the world around you. The same with film. I think, you know, studying film is a bit like studying literature in the sense you're interested in stories and you're interested in how those stories are constructed. But with media and film, there is an element, not just of analysis, because they both have that in common in terms of, you know, one of the core focuses of the subject, but there's also practical elements of studying media and film. So you do storyboarding, you might script a film, you know, you might film, you know, and have experience of actually putting something together in a group with other students and making other media products as well. Making students really think quite critically and analytically about the way in which we communicate, I suppose. Media and film is about communication, and students being able to deconstruct that and think about perhaps, you know, in the media, some of the messages that we are presented with each day, that students can then really kind of unpick those, see how they're put together and think about the significance of those things. But then there's the practical side as well, where you might learn some more, we have an editing suite downstairs, for example, so you have real practical hands-on experience, which you might then take on into a more practical job role within media or film. Again, we take students on trips, primarily down to London. So we've taken students to London the past couple of years running. They've been to film festivals, they've been to media talks, museum trips, going watching the latest films, and kind of not necessarily just the films that you might get at your usual cinema, something that's a bit more art house interesting. So yeah, as much as we can, trying to take students out and see the world. Okay, so many students go on to university having studied media and film, often taking up an interest within that particular subject. So we had a student a couple of years ago who was really adamant she was going to go on and be a script writer, so she pursued film and she's gone off and done that as well. So exciting things like that, for example. But yeah, I mean, the other things, obviously media and film, they're great subjects in terms of facilitating subjects, giving you the skills that many subjects at university want, whether it's related specifically to that or not. A modern foreign language it's so exciting to learn about different cultures, different countries. And when you study French or Spanish at college, you have the opportunity to study the social and cultural life of that particular country. And it really does kind of broaden your horizon. So when I was a student, I did French, and it allowed me to kind of think about the world perhaps in different ways, to challenge perspectives, and to really kind of challenge the way in which you might look at people, for example. You have the ability to study various forms of literature. So I know they do films in Spanish, Pan's Labyrinth. They do, famous plays like The House of Bernarda Alba. So really exciting, yeah. I suppose one of the skills it develops is the ability, like many of the subjects in our department, they're analytical, they're evaluative, and they're critical. But studying a modern foreign language gives you the skill of, I suppose, one, confidence, that ability to kind of think about it when you're talking in another foreign language, and you go to that country and you'll have that opportunity as a student to do so as well, and developing that knowledge of the language, that fluency of the language, and I think that's part of critical thinking in some respects, that you're able to kind of deconstruct, think about how language is constructed, and you become this fluent speaker, reader and writer within that language. Okay, so the extras that we offer, the foreign exchanges, you have to kind of talk about those. They're really fantastic opportunities to go abroad to France or to Spain and then have students come over and stay with you as well. They're fantastic. I was involved in one when I was a student as well, and they give you so much because you get to go and visit places that maybe you've never been to, stay with families, developing all these kind of relationships. The other thing that you get to do is at college we have language assistants as well, so you get quite a few opportunities of one-on-one where you're able to develop your language skills with a fluent native speaker in that language as well, which is really excellent. Close links with Manchester University and the Metropolitan University, MMU, as well. We've had primary school placements where students have gone in and taught primary school students in that language that they're learning as well. And then we have other extras as well, so beginners French, beginners German, so that might be students who take maybe French but they're interested in German. And we also have the opportunity to facilitate exams for students who perhaps speak Arabic at home or Italian at home, and they've come in and they've sat exams at college as well. Quite a wide variety of things, really. I mean, obviously many of them go on to university, many of them will go on and study a language, but they might have to do just one language, or they might combine it with another interest, so they might do, I don't know. I've had students who've gone on and done Spanish and Italian, for example, and only did Spanish here, but their level of Spanish was obviously so excellent that they then went on to study another language at university. Or you might do a language with a completely different subject. Or you might go on and do something, again, a bit like I said for the English, that's not necessarily related, but all the skills that you gain studying a language means that you can go and do that. But yeah.